Growing fallout over the Hunter Biden laptop story. The Washington Post, CNN, and the New York Times now reversing course over the past 2 weeks, those outlets corroborating at least parts of the story after initially calling it Russian disinformation. Our next guest says Twitter's censorship of the story impacted the 2020 presidential election. Joining us now to discuss, Republican Congresswoman from New York, member on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Claudia Tenney. Welcome, Congresswoman, back to National Report. All right, tell me about how censorship you think played a role in the outcome of 2020.
Well, this laptop was unearthed by the New York Post, Miranda Devine, and her tremendous reporting just weeks before the 2020 election, and Twitter and other big tech censors removed the story and blocked the New York Post from putting the story out. And at the time, it was claimed to be Russian disinformation. And incredibly, 51 former intelligence agents, people who were involved in inside information with our federal government, claimed that this was a clear case of Russian disinformation. And they signed a letter saying that this should not be put out for public consumption, which is a form of censorship. And so I joined with 18 of my colleagues who got on and said, this laptop needs to be looked at. It is so critically important that we do not allow this type of censorship from big tech and the big tech oligarchs like Mark Zuckerberg and others to prevent us from knowing the truth before we get to an election as critical as 2020 was.
And you point out the New York Post had the story initially, and then it was widely censored on social media platforms. Well, one student from the University of Chicago took note on the panel. He was asked about media misinformation. The student said the liberal network is responsible for pushing fake stories. Here's Brian's response. Take a listen.
I think you're describing a different channel than the one that I watch. But I understand that that is a popular right-wing narrative about CNN. I think it's important when we talk about shared reality and democracy, all these networks, all these news outlets have to defend democracy. And when they screw up, admit it.
Congresswoman, when you listen to that, what's your thoughts?
You know, from a guy whose show is called Reliable Sources, it is the most unreliable station, CNN, and particularly his show. Where are they fessing up? Where are they apologizing and coming forward and demanding that we look into what this laptop has? This laptop from Hunter Biden accidentally left at a computer store for repair, and what was uncovered and given to our law enforcement agencies, the FBI. Why isn't there a massive investigation of what's in this laptop? It's taking good reporters, whether it's from Newsmax, Fox, the New York Post, and now even the Washington Post, and these media outlets that covered this story up and said it was Russian disinformation, are being forced to look at it. Now, this is a major groundbreaking story. This is about the President of the United States potentially involved in money laundering, RICO claims. The big guy, as is defined in some of these authenticated emails, even by the New York Times, even Tony Bobulinski, who was a partner with the Bidens, who said this is who it is. The big guy is Joe Biden. He got 10%, laundered through his son. 10% was millions of dollars held by Hunter Biden so that they wouldn't implicate Joe Biden, the president of the United States, the leader of the free world. This has to come out. This makes Watergate look like, a tiddlywinks game.
We'll wait and see if these media outlets take additional interest in the story. We're interested, indeed. We'll keep an eye on it. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney joining us this morning. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thanks so much, Emma.
You got it.